But we're going to do some diagrams, and those are important too. And if you guys want to use your phone and shoot this, of course you can.
I'm not here.
Okay. All right, so let's write this down. We're doing long layers. We're going to do a side part. It can be very close to the middle. You'd be surprised. Just a 1/4 inch off the middle will take that thing that I was talking away.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Just it's when it's dead in the center is where it's tough. Not to say that you can't have a center part, because you can. But I just want you to know, if you're putting it on your client, it's, you know, you're challenging her and yourself a little more than usual. All right, so long layers with a side part. What we're trying to create on this is softness. Soft. These are all the words that I want you to think of. Softness, volume. This word is huge. Movement. Okay, movement. Hair has to have movement to it. And all these words I'm throwing out are going to make sense as you start watching. Softness, volume, movement. Yes, we want length. They're long layers, so we're not cutting the length off. Matter of fact, I want my clients to trust me as much as they possibly can and not think that at any second I'm about to like jack their hair. You know, I'm not there to make them unhappy. I'm there to make them super happy. So if they don't want their length cut off, you don't cut their length off, okay? But it's my job to advise them what's best for them as well. So they make the final decision. I give them the information, and then they decide. These layers here, we're going to use some techniques that create this. It's called invisible layers. And what that means is layering that has no lines of demarcation. Or have you ever seen like that perfect layer where you can see every line? You know what I'm saying in certain haircuts? Mm-hmm. Well, what's happening right now, guys, is layers are super in, but nobody wants to see the layer. It's in there, but you can't see those lines. They all blend, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some techniques that create this kind of response in the hair. So number one, I'm going to use a technique. First and foremost, it's called over direction. All right, over direction. So write that down. Second, I'm going to use another technique that's called slide cutting. I'll break all this down. I'm just going to set it all up, and then I'm going to cut fast for you. Okay. Another three, we're going to use a technique that's called channel. Channel. Number four, because channel. I'll come back to this. Number four, we're going to do just sort of blunt. Okay, blunt. Okay. Now we're going to draw a line, or we're going to draw a face. I'm going to do a side part. The partings are going to be angular partings. The line that I'm going to cut. So let me share something with you. So here's a lady. This is how almost every hair cutter in the world cuts their long layers. They comb it down, then they cut it on an angle. Right, you guys? Okay. There's only one thing about this, is that the person who cuts it like, and why do they cut it like this? Because they're taught how to cut it like this. because they're not taught how to cut it like this. So I'm going to share something with you that nobody does, okay? And what it does is it gives you 10 times better results, and I'll explain why. So when you comb hair down like this and cut it on an angle, what you're doing is you're immediately defeating this, okay? You're immediately defeating that, because when you take hair straight down and cut it, that's called on the base, right? On base. When you kick hair from where it grows and straight down where gravity takes it and you cut it, that creates the opposite to softness. That creates blunt, all right? Blunt. So when you cut hair on base, it creates a blunt line, and blunt lines are heavy, right? So immediately you're already starting to create something that is not really what you're looking for. So what we do is we don't cut these on the base. We use this technique right here. It's called over direction. Okay? And what is over direction? Anything that is not on the base is called over direction. You guys follow me? Because there's all different degrees of over direction. You can very much over direct, you can slightly over direct, you can even slightly over direct, but that's on the base. Base creates heavy. Anything away from the base lightens it. Okay, so instead of this hair coming here, we're gonna make the hair travel. Another key word for over direction is travel. We're going to make the hair travel. We're going to make the hair travel a farther distance to be cut to the guideline. Okay? And when it travels more, what does it do? It what? Keeps it
soft.
And?
Movement.
And?
It blends.
It flows.
It flows, exactly. And when it travels, if I travel from here to there, right, it's shorter than if I travel from here to here. You guys follow me? Mm-hmm. So if my guideline's here, and I only have to travel to here, I'm cutting the hair shorter. If my guideline's over there, and I travel from here over to here, the hair's going to stay longer, because it has to travel farther. Do you guys follow that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So the line is going to be cut on an angle like this. All right, that's where the line is going to be cut. And so I'm going to make this line, I'm going to part that exact angle. These two things will be simultaneous. They will mirror each other. The line I'm cutting and the line I'm parting. You guys follow that? Okay. And then this travels here. Now watch what happens. You guys following that? Okay. So, is the hair traveling away from the base here? Yes. Correct, because this is the base, right? Is it traveling less here? Yes. Even less here, away from the base? Even less here, right? Now it's on the base. Over here, it's on the base. Why? Because we want the layers on the face to be soft, but we want all this length to be heavy. Because that's what girls want. They don't want like 5 hairs hanging here. They want volume here, but layers in here, and then have, you guys following me? So this is the way that we're gonna design this haircut. Haircutting is like architecture. All right, this is like building a building. Okay. So, once I have the hair out here like this, and it's in my fingers, I'm going to cut it. But I'm not going to cut it using a, oh God, I forgot one of my main, number 2, put this in, sneak it in there, aeration. Aeration. Okay, number 2 is aeration, 3 is slide. 4 is channel, 5 is blunt. It'll all make sense as I start cutting, okay? And just hang with me. This is the way. This is the way you learn. You get really uncomfortable in the beginning, and you're like trying to follow. You're like, and then pretty soon, like the whole thing will come into your understanding. And then from there, you got to make sure that you do it. You got to get your hands in it. Don't watch it. Talk somebody into letting you do it. Okay. So, over direction, that's the pull. This is called a pull. Over direction is called a pull. I'm pulling the hair into an over direction with my fingers, with my hand. Once I have it here, I'm not going to cut it like this, you know? I'm not going to do this kind of thing. I'm not going to cut it like this. Why? Who can tell me why?
Create a line.
Because why?
You're gonna create the line.
Yeah, is that going to be a line of demarcation? Hell yes. Right? That's a
So that is not gonna blend.
bingo. So I'm going to use another technique. It's like point cutting, but instead of point cutting, it's a form of point cutting. It's called aeration. Okay, aeration. In other words, main word there, air. Okay, we're aerating it. We want a lot of air space in there. Okay, I'll show you how I do that when I get there. There'll come a time. Let's say this hair is even longer and it goes all the way down to here, right? There comes a time that if I keep cutting this line on this angle, what's going to happen to the length?
You're gonna have to get rid of some.
I just cut it off, okay? You guys ever seen a haircut that like goes like this and then it doesn't blend?
Yeah.
The reason is because that person that's cutting it doesn't know how to do this technique right here called sliding, okay? This is how you cut curves in the hair, from point A to B. I can literally cut somebody's hair with bangs like this, and if her hair is like 40 feet long, I could be over in this room over here, blended out 40 feet of hair. It will all blend, okay? Because every professional haircut must blend, and if you have the ability to blend, then that gives you the right not to blend shit. Does that make sense to you guys? You guys understand what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to have the know-how how to blend everything. And once you have that know-how, then you can break all the rules. And not blend anything if that's what you choose as your art. But you must know how to blend, okay? So the key on blending is slide cutting. Channel cutting. When I take water from a river and I move it from that river over to that house, how does it get from the river to the house? It has to flow in a...
Certain direction.
Yes, and what keeps it in that direction? The channel. You guys follow me? Mm-hmm. Okay. A channel's a pipe, right? Or a ditch. So if you want to create movement, remember movement? We can also call it flow. We put movement and flow into the hair with channels. With channels, and I'll explain this as I do it. This will blow your mind. Okay? By the way, this kind of hair cutting I'm teaching you guys right now, pros that have been doing hair 20 years don't know this, okay? So you guys are getting like in right now at the real shit that you're gonna need to know when you get in salon, okay?